You are listening to the Jobbers Court Podcast, part of the W2M Network. We're a podcast for wrestling fans old and new. Court is now in session. Hello, welcome again to another episode of Jobbers Court. I'm the Rasquatch, King of Jobbers Court, joined by my two men of the round table. We have Cedric, the wise old owl of wrestling, and the man of 1,004 nicknames now. Special episode today, we're going to be breaking down our predictions for SummerSlam. Speaking of SummerSlam, the Olympics is going on right now, and it's been the slam of the summer so far. I think so far, what the main discussions I've been having, not that America is winning a lot of gold medals, we're doing a great job. It's that one of the gymnasts did not stand in attention and/or put her hand over her heart during one of the ceremonies, and apparently women's water polo is a big deal. So, yeah.
What's that?
That's pretty much what I'm getting from it so far. So if you guys don't know, just pop in women's water polo uncensored in Google. You know what I'm talking about. All right. So other than that, guys, you guys ready to cover your predictions of SummerSlam? But real quick, what are your guys' thoughts on this year's Olympics?
All right. Well, I've been watching quite a bit because as soon as I go into work, the Olympics are on pretty much all day.
Quite a bit of water polo. Got it. Continue.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say it's been pretty interesting. And if they ever do a women's cruiserweight division, they could hire some of these gymnasts because they're pretty spectacular.
Yeah, they sure are. Cedric,
They sure are.
your thoughts on the Olympics?
It's been quite interesting. Here we're at the house. We support water polo. That's great, man. It's good competition, but it's just amazing when you see the videos of where some of these athletes come from, what they've gone through, and not just that, the drama, all the trash talking between Michael Phelps and one of the guys from South Africa. I was like, man, this is good raw material.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know swimming was that dangerous. People are trash talking like, yeah, you can't beat my time, so why do you shut up and stuff like that? People coming out of retirement. This is good wrestling material.
It's
and
like
then there's water polo.
You'll be saying that when you're eating my dust on that 100-meter butterfly. Yeah.
I'm just waiting for pyrotechnics every time they hit the finish wall. They just need to launch off some fireworks and whatnot.
Now get this. Friend of mine and I were talking about this the other day. What if you had a professional wrestling Olympic event? Huh? And the way it works is two guys, you have two guys that are from the same country and they wrestle each other in a match, and you have Dave Meltzer and whoever else you want out there being the judges, and they rate the match based on how the two performers were able to put on a performance in the middle of the ring. I think we need a pro wrestling Olympics. Maybe not in the Olympics, but just an event called the Pro Wrestling Olympics, and that's what it would be. People from all over the world would get into pairs and they would wrestle each other for ratings. What do you think?
You didn't see what NXT did on Facebook Live?
No, I didn't.
It wasn't worth watching. It was the beautiful blonde Blake running out with a little streamer, and it was pretty interesting. Yeah. If you're not a fan of his wrestling, then you won't be a fan of this either.
Well, I can tell you that would be, I think if you had a women's division, a men's division, you could pull this off. You could pull out the Pro Wrestling Olympics. I'd like to see it. You'd get to see all the different styles, Japanese, India. Let's see what some guys from Sri Lanka can wrestle like. You never know.
Yeah.
Might find something you like. I'll tell you that this whole thing with Blake was probably just as interesting as Dean Ambrose episode of the Stone Cold podcast. But that's a story for another day.
Or maybe a few more minutes from now.
If you guys haven't seen the whole thing yet, it's I won't get into too much of it, but
Go
For
ahead,
now,
man, 'cause for what I've read,
all right then. I'm already on topic, I'm already fired up about it. It takes two people to do an interview. The person giving the interview and the person receiving the interview in order to appropriate ask a question. I mean, we know this shit. We've done many interviews in the show. So when you ask a guy a question and he responds back with kind of whatever he wants or they're dodging the question, I hate the fact that people are like, well, Stone Cold should have quit trying to dig into his personal life. Have you ever watched an episode of the Stone Cold podcast? These were simple questions that he asks every single other wrestler. So if Dean Ambrose didn't expect to be asked these types of questions, then I don't understand what he was expecting to do in the show. He honestly looked bored and disinterested, and like he didn't want to be there for the first maybe 15, 20 minutes of it. After that, it kind of started to click a little bit, and then there was the little bit of awkwardness with him talking about Brock Lesnar, but other than that, I don't know, it was the worst episode I've seen of the Stone Cold podcast, I hate to say. Just because it basically was, as far as Dean Ambrose as an individual, he honestly was, he's either such a laid back person that he just really isn't that interesting, or he's just so laid back that he honestly just didn't give a crap to be there. And either way, that sucks. That's my thoughts.
The one thing that I haven't really watched Sacredly, the Stone Cold podcast, but the few that I have watched, what I've liked is you have the character and then you have the person, and Stone Cold is himself. I think Stone Cold really blurs the line between when he's the character, when he's the person. But the guests that get invited, I really like when they break character, when they let you in on who they are and what they've gone through and what their mentality is and how they use that to fuel a character. Like somebody, if he were to interview The Rock, I know The Rock is gonna be great at that. Definitely, in my opinion. Cena might be another one, but the few that I have watched, Big Show, AJ, stuff like that. That's the thing that I like. They are themselves. The way I've read online, it almost seems like Dean Ambrose just kept in character and wasn't really like into it, which is not really what Stone Cold show has been known. Even when Triple H and Vince were there, yeah, you can see where they blurred the line sometimes and where some questions were getting a little bit annoying, but they still answered it truthfully. So the way I've read things online is almost like Dean did not break character, and unfortunately, I'm not one of his biggest fans. I'll watch it just because you watched it to get my opinion, but if he didn't break character, to me, that's not. It won't be Stone Cold's podcast highlight to say.
I don't really think Dean was in character. I think that just was Dean Ambrose. I think he's honestly that kind of person that's just sort of just kind of out there, laid back. He kind of walks the beat of his own drum, all that, and it just seemed to me like he was really disinterested. And at one point, like Stone Cold even tells him, he's like, "Hey, we got to get this amped up, man. We're trying to get people to watch the show, And he was just like, "Meh, all right, And
I like the way you say it. Like if you've seen the show before, which I would think well, you know what? They may not even say that because he might not have never watched the show if he's that way. But you should know what to expect. I'm pretty sure they talk before the show starts. Hey, there's gonna be a few questions. Just answer truthfully. But
he does.
That's the way he is.
Yeah. And he does get a little fired up toward the end because he starts talking about the Shield, and it really starts to kind of flow when he gets there, and he starts talking about cutting promos and Dusty Rhodes, and so there were definitely good parts of it where you could definitely tell his personality was shining through. But the guy you see come into the ring on like Tuesday nights and the guy you saw back in that interview was kind of different, just because he just seemed tired or just out of it, or he just didn't care. And whatever it was, it definitely wasn't clicking like a lot of the other ones are, and it didn't seem like. At one point, he actually told Stone Cold he was offended by one of the things that Stone Cold had said, and that was because he had told him that Dean Ambrose kind of seems like Dean was just sort of taking it easy and just getting complacent now that he was champion.
Oh, really?
Because he said you come back here and you got no fire, you got no chip on your shoulder. He's like, so what now? Are you just going to be complacent now that you have the title, or you don't have anything to chase? And he's like, he said you. Yeah.
Sorry.
But he said you're so laid back that he's like, it kind of seems like you're getting complacent. So Dean, said he took offense to that and talked a little bit about that. But yeah,
So that's what his character looks like. I was telling my kids that there's a fine line between overexposing the title and taking its prestige away through overexposure, through unnecessary matches. But there's also the whole, I'm just gonna come out with the title over my shoulder, talk, and do nothing else. And then there you go. That's my 2 cents in a show. That's what he's become. Most wrestlers that I've seen in the past, they talk about being fighting champions, and with him, he's the talking champion. He comes out, gives these weird promos or his weird commentary at the table, and then he goes into the ring to break up a fight with Fist of Furies that don't even connect, and it's just a weird. It's just really, for me at least, it's weird to back him up and support him as champion. So.
Well, and you guys know my. Oh, go ahead.
You know that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there was a time that I really wanted him to be champion, especially at the height of the Shield. I never really saw Roman or Seth as the first ones to be champion. There was a time I was really backing him up, and this was after his whole holding the U.S. title without even defending it at all, like breaking a record, and the guy barely even defended it. So, but there was a time that his popularity for me personally, I was like, man, this guy can make a good champion, like especially within the Shield. But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way.
Well, so you guys know how I feel about him. Anyway, I know from an offensive standpoint, I'm not a fan of his moveset and his offensive output and the realism aspect of his moveset. But I don't mind the guy's personality. It's just I kind of lost a little bit of, not respect necessarily, but just the want to watch him after the podcast. So, but whatever. People are still blaming Stone Cold, and some people are blaming Ambrose. It just depends on who you ask, I suppose. I just know it takes two people to do a good interview. You have to have the person asking the question and the person receiving the question have to be willing to be open for dialogue. Otherwise, the interview is pretty much worthless, and that's kind of what we saw during this podcast. So, but all right, guys.
2 fried eggs for breakfast sounds pretty damn good.
All right then.
Sorry, I'm just proving your point about it takes 2 to tango. You have to engage, answer questions.
I thought that was Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just woke up on somebody's floor, and I'm gonna go to the ring, and I'm gonna talk for a little while. Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, and that's all fine and good. We've had people who, I told you guys I'm actually a proponent of not defending the title as often. I'm perfectly okay with that. I just know when you go on and you're the representative of a brand, and you kind of look the way you looked on a live podcast, it's kind of tough. But
you know something, Rasquash, like you and I have had this conversation offline about how where does it get where's the line where you either defend it too much or you don't defend it at all. I think at one point Brock Lesnar was a good example of that, like because of his presence, the way he was being built with Paul Heyman as his manager, whatever. The guy coming out with a title every now and then, just whooping somebody's butt, or just being built by the promotion that Paul Heyman was given. I was fine with that. You knew you didn't have to see him fighting every single time. But in my opinion, that's missing with Dean. Like, there's nobody hyping him up. Just coming up with a title over your shoulder, reminding people that you're the guy and what you've been through, that gets old, after a little while. Like, you have to spice it up in some way, somehow. And that's what I think has been missing. And based on what you're saying on his interview in the podcast, like, that spicing it up was missing again. And I read somewhere, I guess he's given, not as Dean Ambrose, but I guess as his former indie wrestling name.
John Moxley?
It seems like he gave an interview before, like for some documentary, one of these like straight to online, if you wish, documentaries. And it seems like he gave a really good interview, and people have been comparing both, and they're like, man, it's night and day. Where here there was energy, there was stuff, and then with Stone Cold, it seems that there was none. And again, now I'm intrigued. Now I want to watch it just because
Yeah.
I want to compare. I want to actually watch both and compare. Like, okay, what was missing? What's happening here? Like, is this truly Dean the person, or is this Dean the character?
I've heard him on other podcasts, and he definitely was a lot more engaging. I mean, could have been, it was late at night, obviously, when those type of things start. I mean, he could have legitimately been tired. He could have been disinterested in doing the pod. Maybe he doesn't like Stone Cold. I don't know. But whatever it was, they definitely weren't on the same page. So, but unless they were, well, never mind. So, all right. So you guys ready to cover SummerSlam?
Yeah, hottest
Alright,
show of the summer outside of the Olympics.
I was gonna say it's not quite water polo, but it's gonna be an interesting show nonetheless. I think right now there's 9 matches that are booked, unless something changes here in this next week. So the first one, kind of want to break down. We're gonna talk about the ones that are non-title matches here first, and then we're gonna go into each of the title matches. So the first match is gonna be Enzo and Big Cass versus Jericho and Kevin Owens. Cedric, your thoughts on this match? Who you booking to win?
It's Jericho.
Jericho, yeah.
I think I'm going to steal one from Hawk Standing. I really don't care either way. But since we're here to please the listeners' ears, so to speak. And by the way, wife, Mrs. Wow, I had nothing to do with the water polo topic. I know you don't believe me, but I'm just letting you know. I think
you're not off the hook for women's volleyball though. But continue.
Oh my gosh, thanks. and not just beach volleyball. I mean, anyway, let's just. The folks are so behind Enzo and Cass, and it seems like even those behind the scenes are very supportive of them. I see them winning, but this is one of those matches that I think will not go anywhere. It's just one of those that, hey, it's SummerSlam, let's just put it in there. I don't see them building any more Jericho. Hopefully we won't see another. This is like Jericho AJ Styles, where Jericho winning kind of threw red flags for me. If Jericho and KO lose in a tag team match, it'll make for some pretty good promos if them two start arguing. And with Enzo and Cass riding this wave of popularity, I think they're gonna be the ones to win. Now, if something comes out of KO telling Big Cass, hey, you're carrying that weight on Enzo, and they want to do something afterwards, then definitely them losing can literally spark something like that. But because they have lost a lot of times because of Enzo, so that will be an interesting angle. But I think there's such crowd favorites that I don't see why WWE would even try to venture into those waters right now, especially after I saw with the Dudley Boys. I definitely don't think they would want to do that as well with Enzo and Cass. So I see Enzo and Cass winning.
All right. Hulkster?
Yeah, I really don't see how Enzo and Cass are not going to win this one. They're rolling so high right now. The only thing I can think of as far as KO and Jericho pulling a win would be if they were to actually start giving Cass a singles run or a singles push, but I think it's a little too early in their respective career, especially with Enzo being as hot as he is on the mic. And when I say that, I mean with the fans. I'll be honest, I like that they're kind of doing something a little bit different and not having Stephanie McMahon come out every time on Raw. But it's basically just the same segment. They're just putting Enzo out there. 15, 20 minutes of talking and just kind of rambling. And I enjoyed the segment with Sasha Banks and Enzo 2 weeks ago with this last Monday. Like, it just, I don't know, it just kind of bored me. And, we're 3 weeks into the new era and I'm already bored of Enzo. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I'd say
But I do
I
like the Jericho thing.
yeah.
That's pretty interesting. And Jim Vander Schuten or Vander Schmutten, whatever
Uh-huh.
Jericho's old tag team partner is. You know, I love that when KO like that's not a real person.
That's not a real
that
person.
was hilarious.
So what I like about it is that now I've liked all of their mic work, even Big Cash just sort of throwing things out there occasionally has been pretty good. So these four from hyping a match perspective, I think is a pretty good call. Having these four guys out, and then having these four guys in a match, I do like this match. Obviously, probably your opening match or just like a filler match in this type of environment. You can't have every match be a title match, and it still gives them something to do on a big pay-per-view. So, but Enzo and Cass are going to win. I don't think there'd be any spoilers in saying that. If they didn't, I would be shocked, and it would either be like just crazy deception, cheating somehow by the Canadian connection, or Enzo and Cass having some type of mishap. But I don't see them losing. And I do think that Jericho and Owens should use a cheesy like 80s tag team nickname like the Canadian Connection. I think that would be pretty amazing. But I digress. So sounds like we're all taking Enzo and Cass to beat Jericho, or I'm going to call them the Canadian Connection because that's just my name for them. Any other follow-ups on that?
The French Canadian connection, because Kevin Owens' native tongue is French, and there was a group of hockey players known as the French Connection that were Canadian hockey players, so the French Canadian Connection.
Yeah, maybe we got something going there. Maybe you could start a whole stable somehow. Have Sami Zayn turn heel, and just start a whole thing of just Canadians.
We don't need TNA saying once again that WWE stole something from them.
Whoa. Lance Storm started this with the Un-Americans. Don't you even go there.
How many were they? 2?
Lance Storm and Edge, I think, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't really count.
I think we should just go ahead and round up all the Samoans, then all the Canadians, and just put them on all on their different factions, and then let's just have at it. Let's just have faction wars, But
Samoan Dynasty.
Yeah, maybe bring in a couple more Bullet Club guys just to have a true club, and then just factions galore. Let's do it. Do it live.
Have the Irish in one corner, Sheamus, Finn, Becky.
Get Fit Finley out of retirement. He'd still whoop your ass. But
just to fight.
Anyway, I digress. So,
and you could bring in some pop culture and some current event stuff, and you can call them the not real IRA.
See, I'm thinking this is the perfect setup for the Pro Wrestling Olympics. It's done. We've already started working on it.
We're not going to wait another 4 years because the Olympics is going to be over in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, they have 4 years. Either that, or why are they not working an angle with Pokemon Go, where Raw is red, and SmackDown is blue, and NXT is yellow? How could you not have worked that somehow into a Pokemon Go angle, since those are the 3 teams in Pokemon Go? But anyways,
because that R-Truth segment with Pokemon Go was just god awful.
No, it's not. I crack up every single time.
Like, it was hilarious, but like it just seemed so out of place, and I don't know.
Screw you guys. He's catching Pokemon.
It was hilarious, but like I don't know. It's just I'm starting to get tired of Gold Truth already. Like, I don't know, man. It just kind of came out and went.
Goldust needs to start making jokes like, I bet if it was a Pokemon, you'd have tagged it, or like, just things like that. He just needs to happen. If he's gonna do that, he needs to make like really sarcastic Pokemon jokes. But anyway, all right. So the other there's 2 other non-title matches that are also going to take place in the show. One being Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. We're gonna either go to Suplex City or Viperville. What do you guys see happening in this one? Hauxer?
Alrighty. Well, Brock's going to be even more pissed off than normal just because he's got, all these allegations and proven facts and all that is against him. Especially after the Dean Ambrose podcast, where I did see the comments on Brock Lesnar. So it's going to be interesting seeing like how fans react to him after everything that's kind of transpired since UFC 200. That being said, I think Randy Orton's riding pretty high on a newfound what's the word? Energy source, I guess would be a good way to put it, because he's been pretty lively lately, and the one-liners are pretty funny.
He's rejuvenated.
Rejuvenated. There we go. I was waiting for the play-by-play guy to come up with a good vocabulary.
You're welcome.
But yeah, I think I'm going to give it to Randy Orton here. One RKO, maybe two, to get to Viperville.
It's going to take at least two, but all right.
I would love to see an F5 reversed into an RKO. That's what I'm waiting for.
I could see how that could happen. Cedric, what do you think?
Yeah, when this match was first announced, I wasn't a big fan of it, and I think that WWE has done pretty good, especially this last Raw, where they gave that little video package where they showed how they started from the beginning and where they're at this point in their careers. I think that's what the WWE needs to do more and more with some of these feuds. Just give your backstory or background and run with it. I think that definitely helps add to the match. And I think this match is pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. I do believe that with WWE not punishing Brock because the whole incident happened with the UFC and not with them, I don't see why they would just out of the blue give a loss to Brock Lesnar, especially with Randy coming back from his prolonged time off due to his injury. But it is going to be a pretty interesting match. But I think if there's bigger storylines still to tell, where Brock Lesnar is one of the main characters, keeping him undefeated will definitely help build and give more fuel to whatever feuds they have down the road with him. So I'm gonna give this one to Brock, but it will be interesting if the way that Randy finds a win is at F5 reverse into RKO. He has definitely give us some memorable RKO moments, and that will be one of those to add to the list. So, but I think Brock Lesnar is gonna take this one.
Okay, yeah, I was reading WWEinsiders.com today, and there's rumors that Lesnar is going to be released at the end of 2016 anyway. So
there you go. That changes everything.
I don't know. It's kind of one of those things to where I've said it before. I'll say it again. The only way you ever book Brock Lesnar to lose is if you want that to be the last match that he ever plans on wrestling, or at least for a long, long time, because you can't build the guy up as this unbeatable attraction if he gets beat. So he's not Mick Foley, who can come in and wrestle a hardcore style, and that's what you're watching him for. You're watching Brock Lesnar to come in, go beast on a guy, and just beat him. If he loses, that entire persona, that entire gimmick is done. And so personally, I would have him beat Randy Orton here with a potential rematch, maybe at Survivor Series, and then Randy Orton beats him, vanquishes Lesnar, and if this is to be believed, he might be released after that. But for this one, I'm still going to say Lesnar's going to win. The video package was really awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. Lesnar had no problem being censored on the stuff that he was saying, and Orton threw a couple jabs out there. Now I think they're saying, what did they say, 15 years in the making for this match? Mm-hmm. I think they might have forgot the match. I think they might have forgot the match they had back in 2002 on SmackDown, but that's none of my business. So I'm gonna say Brock Lesnar, much like in 2002, is gonna win again against Randy Orton. So, any other takeaways or comments?
I do like on the build up, the video packages talking about OVW and all their time down there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Especially Batista with his vampire gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I agree with you, Resquash. You know, after everything he's done, the fact that he's the one to give a loss to the Undertaker at WrestleMania, which is huge. I'm sorry, Randy is a good wrestler, but I think he himself is also on the downside of his career. You know, he's been injury prone and he's an older guy. He still has star value, but just like I did not agree when somebody says Sting losing to Triple H was passing the torch. Really, it's more like passing the cane. I just don't. If Brock Lesnar's gonna lose to someone, and like you said, that'll be the last match. Yes, it kind of, for some people, makes sense. Legend versus legend, kind of, because Randy Orton, regardless of what people think of him, he is in that level after so many years that he's been wrestling. I would prefer him to fight someone who's up and coming and needs that one opponent to break, through that barrier. You know what I'm saying? And hit that superstar level instead of just having Randy be the one to beat him. And because, like you said, once he loses at this point, maybe not so much in the past when he has lost, like against John Cena, but I think at this point, once Brock Lesnar loses, and if it's a clean loss, definitely, or a clean win, definitely it will take away his aura. So I agree with you. Hopefully there's more to it than just that 2006. Well, you were saying of him possibly being released at the end of the year.
And people forget. I mean, he not only beat Undertaker at WrestleMania, he then proceeded to essentially beat Undertaker 3 more times. The one win that the Undertaker did have was that fluky win where the Undertaker actually tapped and the ref didn't see it. But he still dominated Undertaker for a good majority of that match, and then never tapped. He passed out. So I look at those and just say, this guy dominated the Undertaker basically 4 times. And everyone else he's faced, he's pretty much just crushed. Now, if I had really had to pick someone that I'm going to put over a guy like Brock Lesnar, I would pick like a Bray Wyatt type character or somebody that's still a little younger that can actually benefit from the rub of beating Brock Lesnar. But what do I know? That's just my thoughts would be that if you're going to have somebody beat him, have it be someone relevant, someone a little bigger that can match his physicality, and someone that it would make sense to beat Brock Lesnar. So
I would love to see a Bray Wyatt promo after beating Brock Lesnar. I've beaten the Beast. I've conquered the Conqueror.
Yeah. Follow the buzzards. All right. Well, so sounds like we got what, one person taking Randy Orton then, and 2 taking Brock Lesnar in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick to my Fantasyland booking there.
All right. And then the last singles match, non-title, is going to be John Cena versus AJ Styles 2. Now, this match to me, I'm obviously really excited about it. My kids asked me which match I think is going to be the best one on the card. I said this match. I think that they're gonna match that intensity from the first match, and they have even more chemistry now. I can see this being a fantastic match. Supposedly no club. You never know. Who knows what could happen? But since we're gonna have SmackDown and Raw superstars there, and John Cena, honestly, I can see this being that setup for the rubber match in this one. I think Cena is going to get one over on Styles here, and it's going to lead to a third match, kind of a rubber match down the road. Probably go 20, 25 minutes in this match. It'll be I think it's going to be a good one, and hopefully ends better for John than last year's SummerSlam did. What do you guys think, Cedric?
If AJ were to lose against Cena, to be honest with you, this will be one of those where people will start talking about burying somebody, and you can't bury AJ Styles. But what else can you build after this? That's my only concern with this one. We've seen they have one network special match, but they've had a few, right, on SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah, you mean with the club and
the
then
club
Cena.
and Cena with whoever he tagged with, and Cena did get the win with one of his super F5s, if I'm not mistaken, from the top rope.
Yeah.
I just see all the fun and games that they had with the beat up John Cena, hashtags that they had on. It was funny to actually see them on Instagram and on Twitter when they mentioned it, and their pictures were hilarious. But if Cena wins on this one, I just don't see what else can you build up afterwards, because the beat up John Cena thing wouldn't make too much sense at this point, especially since the club is on Raw and you got AJ on SmackDown. So
yeah, I was gonna say, but if you have Cena lose both times, what is there for this feud to go forward either? Because would you rather do it this way and then Cena's going to come back and beat him in the next match? To me, at least you can set up a match where they're kind of 1-1 respectively in singles matches, and then it leads to a third match down the road to really determine who's better. Whereas
Go ahead.
I'll say if you have Styles win, he's beaten John 2 times. There's nothing left for him to do. There would be no reason for AJ Styles whatsoever to challenge John Cena ever again.
I guess if someone is thinking the way you're thinking and writing the storyline to this, then your thinking makes sense. Again, you guys know that I've said in the past I've kind of lost faith in creative. So hopefully they are thinking the way you're thinking, and they can continue to build. So under your explanation, then definitely it will make sense then for Cena to win. Hopefully it'll be another match where people are left with a desire to see a third match. That's also my concern, that the first one was so good. It really put, for those who had never seen AJ Styles, it definitely put him on the map, on their WWE Universe map. So if they can replicate and even take it to another level, then definitely let Cena win. Hopefully there is interference or whatnot, and it still leads to him winning. That way there is a third one, and this time, make it a special type match where there ain't no way that it's gonna be outer interference. And then, like you said, then we'll definitely say who the better man is, and hopefully at this point AJ will have the win and push forward, hopefully to the main title of SmackDown, which that will be interesting in my opinion.
Honestly, if I was booking this, AJ would lose, and then he'd kind of have that little bit of humble pie about being better than John Cena. But leading up to the match, it's going to be all about AJ Styles adapting to get better and better and better to beat John. And I could see that, like, all his training and everything that's leading up to him wrestling John Cena at, say, Survivor Series or whatever. And that's kind of AJ's face turn, since he doesn't have the club to worry about anymore. He doesn't have anything. And then he overcomes John Cena in the third match clean, legitimately, and then John even shakes his hand and says, "Yeah, you're better than me." And then that's it. That's the end of it. They're in a cage match or a Hell in a Cell or whatever you want to do with it to keep outside interference from it. And that's how I would book it, and that's what I hope to see. I don't want to get my expectations too high, but if they did something like that, I would be very happy and very impressed, even if AJ did lose the second match.
Yeah, because definitely, let's say Cena wins this one and then he wins the next one.
Yeah.
What's left for AJ? How do you push AJ from this point on, even as a heel or a face? How do you push him forward?
He goes back to the mid card. That's what happens.
And that's not going to be a good thing for him. He's not a name that should be pushed at this point to a mid card, regardless of what some people say. He has his value. This is not Alberto Del Rio we're talking about, who transitioned for whatever name he had in Mexico, which I just drew a blank right now.
Alberto
and came here.
Patron?
No.
Dos Carlos Jr.?
Yes, thank you. You know, this is AJ Styles we're talking about, and just to push him into a mid card, it wouldn't make sense to me. So that's where I'm a little bit concerned. But what you said makes sense. You know, Cena winning now, and they're having a third match. Hopefully, because Cena at this point, Cena losing, Cena is Cena in the WWE. He is established. No matter love him or hate him, he has established himself as the guy, point blank. So him winning against a third match against Styles doesn't do nothing for him, but Styles beating him definitely pushes him in WWE into that title picture, and hopefully he'll hold the title that Sting never did, which is a sad thing to even say, but I like your thinking, and let's go over that.
I personally think that John Cena needs to get moved down to more of a gatekeeper type of role going forward, where he may not be holding the title, but he's that guy. Like, if you want to get to the title, you got to beat John Cena. And so I personally, if I was running the company, as wins and losses obviously matter, but you'd get a guy up there who you think's ready. Nope, John Cena beat him. You get a guy you think he's ready. Nope, John Cena beat him. And then you finally get that guy that moves up, beats John Cena. It's like, yeah, that guy's ready to be a champion. And so you use John Cena as that stepping stone to the next guy to become the world heavyweight champion. And that's just, to me, that I think that's the most suitable, most fitting role for him at his age and as busy as he is. But anyway,
he still has that one title win. He's that one title win away from tying Ric Flair. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but that's always behind people's minds as well. So,
yeah. Hulkster, what do you think?
All right, so here's my thing. First off, you guys keep talking about second and third matches. Are we just kind of pretending that the Battleground wasn't part of this feud, where they had John Cena win in the 6-man tag team match? Are we not considering that part of the feud as far as the 1-1 being even?
I'm not, because it wasn't a one-on-one match.
Mm-hmm. Neither am I.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's where we're kind of different in our opinions.
Because I even said before Battleground, I thought it was a good idea for Cena to beat Styles in that match, because then it wouldn't make Styles look weak, and you could keep Cena looking strong by beating AJ in a non-singles match.
Right, and I get that, and I agree with you. But as far as scoreboard, like, I still kind of feel like they're still 1-1, because I mean, he still did pin him off of a super attitude adjustment. It's called the attitude adjustment.
Man, he's going way back.
But but I still kind of consider that, you know, kind of a 1-1 kind of thing. And I think what another part that really kind of throws me off with this whole thing is that we're talking about SummerSlam. We're talking about the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. SummerSlam has never really been a middle of the feud, just kind of keep the feud going thing. It's usually where feuds start or where feuds end, kind of like WrestleMania. So, or at least that's what I've always considered it as, or what I've always looked at it as.
Mm-hmm.
And so going forward, I feel like it would just get boring after SummerSlam. Seeing them just, they're going to fight again, they're going to fight again, and we're going to start seeing more oversaturation. Now, sure, I hope this match is probably going to be better than the last two matches, even though the last two matches were pretty phenomenal, pun intended. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, if we see Cena win, I don't really see casual fans specifically, being interested in watching another match between them, especially because they got all this hate going on towards AJ as far as the whole soccer mom thing. Saw even a sign last week that said AJ has a bitch face. So I mean, he's getting some good heat here, but they're booing him more because it's fun to make fun of him, not because he's the bad guy. And a win against John Cena, especially a 2-0 singles win, I think would shut a lot of people up and really look at him like, oh, hey, this guy really is for real, instead of just, oh, it's just another guy who came from Japan and, you know, he's not as good as our WWE homegrown guys. So I would really love to see AJ beat John Cena at SummerSlam. But then again, I like rooting for the bad guy, so that's my 2 cents on this whole thing.
I- it makes sense what you're saying too. Like I like the way Rasquatch books it based on his mentality, his psychology that he has in the ring. But your point of view is good too because a lot of trash has been said, and that's another thing that one of my coworkers was saying that like they keep talking about what he did in Japan. It's time to him to shine for what he does in the WWE, meaning AJ Styles. And obviously Cena pretty much told him if you lose and it doesn't work out, you just pretty much pack your bags and leave. So this winning this match, if there's nothing pushing forward, would mean what you just said, Hulk Standing. But if there's another match, then I would say the way Rasquatch is saying it, that will make sense. But there's so much trash talk that's been said that definitely a win. If there's one person that a win or a lose might hurt or build them right now is AJ Styles. So this match is actually more important than people are probably thinking, especially for AJ, because I don't think a win or loss is not really going to hurt Cena, in my opinion. It's more AJ
If
Styles for
Cena
me
wins this
because of it.
match, if Cena wins this match, they're really going to have to put a lot of effort in for that AJ comeuppance on the next one, or even if they don't continue with this feud, they're going to have to do a lot of work to rebuild AJ up as a legitimate contender. I do like what you're talking about. Is just I'm just curious how much of the fans are really going to buy into that supporting AJ.
I agree with that too because most WWE only fans haven't really been too much behind the AJ Styles bandwagon, even with everything they've talked about. And like I said, my own coworker was like, for people like me that watch casually WWE, and I am not gonna go out of my way to search online things that AJ Styles did before he came to the WWE. It's all about what we see in WWE. So if he were to lose again, I'm pretty sure my butt is gonna be like, okay, so what's so great about this guy? And I think they did a really good job cleaning up the fact that he lost to Chris Jericho in a pretty high profile match because of it was, I think, WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken. And they did a pretty good job letting people forget the guy did lose twice to Roman Reigns for the title. And John Cena did bring it up, so it's still there. So a win now will mean a lot. But if he loses, like you said, it's going to take a lot to build another match because I think the casual fan is not really going to want to watch another match. But then what? Then what for both guys? Is Cena going to go for the title? Is AJ Styles going to be brought down to a mid-card level? Nah, this is a big match. This is really a big match.
Yeah, I think if AJ loses, he's going to be next in line for the United States Championship, which we'll get into here in a minute. But anyways, so
the United States Championship,
yep.
He's going to get traded over to Raw.
Potentially. There have been talks of trades. Randy Orton being one. Potential trade going over to Raw, and then potentially bring in like a Kevin Owens or somebody like that, or Cesaro with his unhappiness from Raw over to SmackDown. So it's
that didn't take long.
Too soon, man.
I've already read a lot of the stuff that's floating around about that, but yeah, who knows? I think that we're ready to move on from this one. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the tag team championship match? So we're gonna have Kofi and Xavier for the New Day with Big E and his contusion on his penis, versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Big E.
Cedric, what do you think of this match and who wins?
Okay. If there won't be no Big E because he got hurt on the little D.
Yeah. Or what I'm calling the club now. That's the real club because it'd be swollen. But continue.
I've been a fan of the New Day as a group. I haven't been a big fan of the New Day as champions. I really did not see much of the old era when you had the Fabulous Freebirds and they were champions and it was all three of them. So I kind of grew up seeing an actual three-man, a six-man tag team title, if you will, where some folks are saying that that's from New Japan. Just look history-wise, that's something that in Mexican wrestling you'll see in the Lucha Libre style, where you have a tag team and you also have a three-man team representing as champions, because they do have a lot of matches where it's 3-on-3. So for me, I think it's time for these guys to drop these titles, because I just don't see them going anywhere further, especially with the whole three versus, or not 3 versus 3, but three guys as champions, and you don't know which two is going to represent. Usually it's Kofi Kingston and Big E, but I think this will be a great opportunity for them to drop the titles. Now, will that give prestige to the club as a tag team and legitimize them on WWE? Them two, who have been plagued with the whole how great they've been in New Japan, because JBL will not let you forget, or in this case now Corey and whatnot. I don't think so, but it's the perfect time to drop the titles. They already broke the record from Paul London and Brian Kendrick. I don't see them breaking on from Demolition, and Michael Cole alluded to that on this past Raw. And it'll be a perfect time for the club to finally get bumped up to the beast that they are. But also Big E coming back and saying, you know what, the reason you beat us is because I wasn't there. And there's so much story that can be built afterwards. Mm-hmm. Because obviously, I haven't really read, but people have kind of mentioned, how about if one of the, almost like the Shield, where one of the guys just ends up going his own separate way. Xavier Woods has just been the Francesca tooting, hair raising, booty-o guy on the corner.
The Rudy Tooty Booty.
But he has shown that he has wrestling, he has that fire, especially against Bray Wyatt when he just came out and did some of his moves. So it will be interesting, but this will be the perfect moment if they want to do something like that, where these guys do drop the title, because it's them too. Because if it's Kofi and Xavier and the club loses to them, dude, that's it. The club is done. There'll be just a mockery, just like their little funny segment as doctors. That's what they will become, and they're above that, in my opinion. We don't need another Golden Truth team with jokes and whatnot. So this will be the perfect time for them to win and then continue to build, because then there will be a legitimate gripe. Hey, the New Day wasn't complete. Their powerhouse wasn't there. So
all
the
right.
club.
Okay.
Oh, I said all that to say the club wins.
Yep. All right. Hawkster?
Well, as far as the doctor and the ring postitis, I thought that actually fit pretty well, because if you look at some of their promos individually, like, they do have a pretty dry, corny sense of humor to begin with. So I thought it fit them pretty well. I thought the whole background, like the blue background, and then walking out with the robes on, I thought was a little much. But honestly, I thought it fit pretty well. I enjoyed it. And honestly, it was funny. But then again, I've got a real cheeseball, corny, dry sense of humor as well. So maybe that's why I really enjoyed it. Exactly, But
okay.
But yeah, I can see this being a real test for the New Day, and
Testy.
Yeah, I can see how Xavier would really go nuts if they lost the title.
Nuts.
So
Nuts.
it'd be great for us to see this match. So I'm gonna go with the club.
All right.
Sorry,
So I honestly, when it comes to the promos that they did, I liked it. Anytime that they can actually show that they have some type of personality, whether it's making fun of New Day to get heat or whatever it might be, because otherwise they were just like drones. They were just walking around, and they were kind of just following AJ Styles around. They didn't have a real thing to identify with, at least not since they've come into WWE. So I really thought that just that one promo did a lot for them momentum wise. And then also the brutality.
Really boosted their self-esteem.
It did. So the mentality wise though, their aggression, their want to harm, those type of things is kind of what makes their attitude in the ring. But they needed to show a few things outside the ring, and I think they did that, with this most recent promo. I also can see the club getting the title here. The only issue I have is I know they're not going to break up New Day because Kofi has come out and said many times, hey, when New Day's done, I'm done. I'm retiring. So if you break up the New Day, you're essentially losing two people from the New Day because whichever one goes off and does their singles push. Kofi isn't interested in wrestling outside of when they're done with their New Day stuff, and Xavier Woods actually is working on his YouTube channel and wanting to do more with video game type stuff, and is starting to get less interested in the wrestling side of things. So you may be right. It could be something where this could end the New Day down the 6 months to a year down the road, if not sooner. But it might be where two of those people just may not be performing anymore. Sad as that might seem, but yeah, I can see the club definitely picking up a win here. Kofi and Xavier, the two smaller guys trying to take on Gallows, just a giant of a man, and Anderson, who's kind of a good all-round performer. So I'm gonna take the club as well. There's a win here, and the tag team titles will change hands. What do you guys got?
I like the pun about New Day not performing.
Yeah.
I didn't
Sorry.
catch that one.
Not performing. Not performing.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a stretch, but Ring decided to stretch a few things out. So
Stretch.
It's true though, like what you guys are saying. That is one team. I don't see them having individual success. Not saying that they cannot, because as Kofi's a great individual wrestler, Big E definitely has the potential to be built even more, just like he was in NXT. Not sure if the people will buy that, like the casual fan would buy into it as much as they did on NXT, the NXT fans, but Xavier as an individual wrestler, not so much. I think he would literally fall into more of a jobber type. So once that group is done, I think really that group is done. This is not going to be like the Shield where they go individually and can potentially down the road get back together in one of those anything can happen in the WWE type scenarios. But the only way I see these guys holding on to their title is if Big E just comes and does a run in out of nowhere. Hey, he comes out of the crowd or something and helps them win. But if not, I think it's a perfect opportunity to have the club win.
All right. Alex, you got anything else?
yeah, I'm ready to go buy my box of Bootio cereal because it's a real cereal now. FYE.
Yeah, if you want to pay like $15 for a box of it, sure.
Well, I mean, they're already selling the actual box itself for $20 at WWE events, so why
come on.
pay $5 less for the box?
Yeah, but there's
then,
there's a T-shirt in it.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just an empty box.
No, there's a T-shirt in the box for $20.
Oh, okay. Is
It's
there
a
going to be a
T-shirt in a
T-shirt
box.
in my?
What's that?
Is there going to be a T-shirt in my cereal?
No, okay,
Oh.
so the actual cereal they just started making, and you can only buy it from this one website. But
Yeah.
the previous Bootios boxes were boxes that had a shirt in it.
Oh, okay. So I
And
thought
now
people were
they-
just buying the box.
No, and now they've made legitimate. Now they make legitimate cereal, but you can only buy it from one company, and it is like $15 for a box.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
It's New Day in a box, but
Yo.
So-
and make sure you ain't booty.
It's Big E in the box.
yeah, Biggie's. Well, never mind. All right, so
Does the cereal have nuts in it?
yeah, I was saying it has marshmallows.
Oh.
But anyways, so
Marshmallows.
yep.
Oh.
So it's marshmallows, but Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for the WWE Women's Championship. Dana Brooke is banned from ringside for this matchup. What's going to happen here? What do you think, Hauxter?
Well, I don't see how Sasha Banks can lose her first title defense, especially at SummerSlam, especially after the big emotional victory that she had. However, I really enjoyed Charlotte as the champion. Mm-hmm. She was a really, really great heel champion. And I would kind of like to see this back and forth continue to go. That being said, if you continue to just back and forth the title, it's going to lose some prestige because no one's going to be able to defend it. But this is going to be interesting. But I'm gonna have to go with Sasha, and I'm going to say this is actually going to continue the feud. I know what I said earlier about SummerSlam being the end of the big feuds, but this is one of those cases I would like to see the feud continue. I want to see Sasha beat Charlotte clean, and then Charlotte go into this just kind of mental confusion. Like, how could I lose? How could I lose? You know, and she loses clean without any kind of interference whatsoever. And Charlotte's like, well, maybe I did need help from all those other people. And so maybe that could be like a possible turnaround and have her come back and really just kind of start DTA, don't trust anybody kind of thing.
Okay, interesting. Cedric?
All I hope is that these two ladies come out safe and healthy out of their matches, because they pretty much
are crazy.
They put it all on the line. They do moves and stuff. You know, we've seen Sasha take some pretty nasty bumps in her high profile matches. Either the two that she had on NXT against Bayley, she took some pretty nasty hits, and even here with Charlotte, she's taking some bumps. She's like Daniel Bryan, and she throws it out there and she leaves it all in the ring. And just like Big E, he has some of those moves that a lot of people have been calling, dude, you gotta slow down a bit. And I think Sasha's one of those that she needs to slow down a little bit. And Charlotte too, man, that moonsault off the third rope to the outside, there wasn't too much cushion there, because a little bit of a bump Sasha took didn't break that fall. And so hopefully they'll be safe. It should be a good match. I have not seen a bad match yet from Sasha when it's those high profile type matches. She always delivers. Charlotte, that girl is with all due respect, no, I don't need nobody getting mad. That lady, she really is an athlete. She is who she is. She doesn't need to hide behind the Flair name. She definitely is her own person. Who wins? I would prefer to see Sasha win. I think Alexander made a good point to losing your first true title defense will be kind of messed up. Not that it has not happened in the WWE, you know, but I would rather have her win. Don't forget a Charlotte. Don't let her, you know, just, okay, so she lost, let's bring the next person. But just keep her in the title picture. But definitely, you know, I'm not sure when Nikki's going to come back. I've heard that Nikki's getting super pumped, ready to revamp her character, new moveset and everything. So eventually, I would assume that will be, if she gets drafted into SmackDown, that is. I would think she will be another contender. I don't see Natalya being a contender, although with the heel turn, who knows? Becky, poor Becky. It's going to take a lot of building to put Becky Lynch again into a title picture, but
yeah, all the King's horses and all the King's men.
Those are the only two that can put freaking Becky's career back together again. But anyway.
I thought you were going to say they couldn't be Becky Lynch's friend.
Well, yeah, they'd turn on her too eventually. They'd show up, put a couple pieces back, and then just start stomping on her again. God. Jeez.
She's the only person that her imaginary friend turned her back on. It's back on her too. So
no kidding.
So these are the only two women that right now I think make sense in SmackDown. So hopefully Sasha wins and they continue the feud between them. That's That's all I can see. So hopefully Sasha wins. It'll be really, after everything has been said, even Mick Foley blogging on it and all that stuff. Definitely, Sasha wins. There's no other way. I'm just kind of concerned what happens next more than anything.
I think Sasha Banks beats Charlotte, and it kind of proves once and for all that Charlotte did need a little bit of, probably did need help in some of those victories, and it also pushes Sasha Banks forward as finally getting over that hump and dealing with Charlotte, who's been using all these underhanded tactics. She finally gets that opportunity to be one-on-one with the heel, no excuses, no interference, no nothing, a chance to get in there and just kind of beat her up. I think that'll be the exciting part of this matchup. Sasha Banks will win. What's next for both of these two? Man, I don't know, but you've got all these different things with Nia Jax that have been showing, and her coming out and beating up on some jobbers and things like that. So who knows how quickly they plan on pushing her. As far as Charlotte, I could see her moving down, trying to find a different face to work with, or maybe even her and Dana Brooke kind of doing their thing for a little while. Either Charlotte, like Hauckster said, maybe turns over a new leaf after this again, or just her and Dana Brooke decide to feud for a while. We'll just have to see what happens. All right, so next we're going to cover the Rusev versus Roman Reigns match for the WWE United States Championship. Now, I'm going to say, kind of going into this match, I kind of feel like Roman Reigns has been more the heel in these confrontations with Rusev. I mean, Rusev and Lana Lana just wanted to talk about their wedding and come out and have some cake and celebrate with everyone. And out comes Roman Reigns, has to ruin everything. So I don't know, but hey, at least Roman is getting some cheers now. That he's in more of a mid card type of role, and Rusev is definitely getting the boost. So both guys doing a pretty good job. Yep. So okay. Woo. So water polo. So Rusev, I think though in the end, I don't think they're done with Roman as far as being in the doghouse, and I honestly think he'll lose to Rusev here for the United States Championship, and then who knows what's next for Roman Reigns. But that's my prediction. What do you guys think, Hauckster?
I'm in the same boat. I mean, Roman Reigns is basically that drunk brother-in-law who shows up at your wedding and just starts giving you this horrible toast. Like, just go away. Let us do this on our own thing, But yeah, like I definitely got that same vibe of Roman's still kind of almost like a tweener type thing. Mm-hmm. Not as good as Randy's tweener, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, what are we talking about? we are talking about wrestling, right? Continue on.
I think I might have some ring postitis, man. Oh man, but I haven't had breakfast today, so there we go.
Kind of thinking about tweeners.
Actually, you know what sounds really good? A banana nut muffin. Hey.
Oh. Making a tweener in my pants right now. Continue.
Alrighty. Well, I'm not going to say that word anymore. But yeah, I think they're going in the right direction with Roman Reigns, kind of bringing him down a peg. At the same time, if he wins the United States Championship on his first attempt, it just kind of puts everybody who's attacked Rusev and lost just completely in the gutter. Like, wow, he just demolished Rusev. And honestly, as much as I hate to see Rusev as the United States champion, I love to see him as the United States champion. Like, this is almost as good as his first run as a champ. But I'm enjoying this. I want to see it continue. So let's have Rusev beat Roman Reigns. I don't think he's gonna tap him out in the accolade, but I think he's gonna beat him. Maybe even a fluky finish. But I'm gonna say Rusev wins. Maybe some interference by Lana.
Okay. Maybe Lana gets some revenge for the Carrie looking scene that ended up happening to her on Monday.
Yeah, throw some cake back in Roman's face.
That'd be well. All right,
Cake,
yes,
not
that'd
coke.
be that'd be good. Cedric,
Let the
what's your,
puppies loose.
what's your prediction?
I think we've talked about Rusev pretty much on every podcast. At some point, I think we mentioned him. So I think he too is in not at the category of Brock Lesnar. Let me say that first. But he is in that same plane, as in he has been built once again to the monster that he was when he started. Even the commentators have been saying it because they have been copying us.
Yeah,
And just like how Stanley said, if Roman were to win on his first attempt, it kind of throws everything up to this point out the window. Rusev is going to lose at some point, but it shouldn't be now. It shouldn't be so soon, and definitely not to Roman, who we all know pretty much just came back from his 30-day punishment and whatnot. So I think Roman looked really comfortable in it. And my buddy at work, shout out to Zach Davis. He mentioned it. He said, "Look, this is the most comfortable I've seen him on the mic." Like I actually believe this Roman Reigns persona. He actually did look drunk, but it was good. It made sense. And like, calm down. I'm not here to mess this up. I noticed you have a best man, so I'm taking one for the team. I want to be your best man. It was pretty funny, actually, and the way it ended, how he left, and my bad, kind of makes him look kind of heelish, but I would like to see Rusev win. I don't want to see either a DQ happens where by disqualification Roman wins and not actually a clean win, but Rusev keeps the title. Definitely, and not even make anything about this. I don't think we should even continue this feud between them two. Be one of those things that just happens one and done, and that's it. So really, I think Rusev should win. Rusev should continue his dominance with the title, and once you have that really truly up and coming guy that can legitimately beat him and carry the title and continue to push the title and his prestige, yeah. But I don't think right now that should be Roman. That's just what I think.
all right. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. And Rusev's just been so outstanding in his role. It'd be so hard to take a title off him when he's been doing such a great job. So, all right. So, anybody have anything else before we cut out to the Intercontinental Championship match? All right, cool.
Yeah, good.
So, The Miz with Maurice versus Apollo Crews for the WWE Intercontinental Championship match. For me, I still think it might be a touch too early to have Apollo Crews in contention for the Intercontinental Championship. Which is why I don't think he'll win. I think The Miz is gonna retain the title once again against Apollo Crews. I don't know if he'll do it cleanly, no idea, but I think he will retain the title. Apollo Crews just has just a little bit more time for me to really see him. I actually thought that Baron Corbin was in a better position to be up for this title, but you can't have heel versus heel, so I kind of see why they ended up doing it this way. But I see The Miz beating Apollo Crews in this match. I could still see both having a really good showing, though. What's your guys' thoughts? We'll go back to Hulkster first on this one.
All right. Well, I'm actually in the exact opposite of what I think is going to happen, but I think it's exactly for the same reasons that you mentioned. It might be a little too early for Apollo Crews. However, that's why he's going to win, because no one's going to expect it. And even just the last few weeks, every time it's been showing The Miz, I mean, he's been so aloof and real kind of lazy and lethargic in just about everything he's done when it comes to being in the ring. He's just been very distracted by, his good looks and his good looking wife, that I don't think he's going to be truly focused. I think he's going to be walking into this ring thinking, okay, this is going to be an easy match. And I think Apollo Crews is going to bite him in the butt metaphorically,
Hmm.
not literally. And then
What?
Miz is going to be like, okay, well, maybe I need to get into this match. And then we start having a really, really good match. But a little too late. Cruz is already rolling. And I think he's going to get a real big, surprising upset.
Okay, interesting. Cedric?
That kind of does make sense. One of those surprise of the nights type matches where you're like, oh shoot, I didn't see that one coming. It does make sense, and plus, it also makes sense by what you were saying, Rasquatch, that Baron Corbin, I feel is actually more suited to actually carry a title. A lot of people are hating on Baron Corbin, and a little early rant of the night, guys, give these guys a chance. You know, I see so many people hating on these newer wrestlers that I'm like, what do you guys expect? The older wrestlers are getting old. Can't keep carrying a company on the backs of the older wrestlers, right? Close rant. I think Baron Corbin, because what you said, heel versus heel for the title, might not be what people want to see. Having someone like Cruz win it, surprisingly, because of the reasons that Hawk Standing said, will make for a better matchup down the road between him and Corbin. Now, should he win specifically for that? No. I can see, unfortunately, another, gosh dang it, I forgot his name. He won the title just to lose it the next day.
Woo woo woo.
I could see something like that happening again, where he might lose the title and then just invoke his rematch on the same week and win it again. Is that good for the title? Heck no. Is it good to keep putting one more title run on the Miz? Oh, he's the freaking 20-time IC title run. Obviously, that's not it, but no, I don't think that would be good either. But it kind of makes sense, you know. Do I think it's too early? Do I think Apollo Crews has the star power at this time to carry a title? No, not really. I don't think so. I'd rather see on Raw, Mr. Neville carry a title eventually. Cruiserweight probably would be best for him. But then again, it'll be one of those surprises. It would just throw everybody into a loop that this young up and comer has the title. What happens next? I have no idea, because he would definitely need a lot of building and some really good feuds to push him forward as a legitimate champion. But I can see it happening based on that. But then again, you know, the Miz is almost also in that Rusev plane where he's been doing his thing as a champion, that to take it away from him now, kind of, and it being against somebody so green still, I don't know. This is a tough one. I'm gonna go with the Miz, but I can definitely see Hawk Standing's point of view happening.
Yeah, you know what's funny, Cedric, is you when you said it's gonna be, I almost thought you said Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it didn't. I was like, what is he talking about for a second? And then my mind had to process what you just said. So congratulations, you had me thoroughly confused there for 3 or 4 seconds, and when I go back and listen to that, I'm gonna have to laugh about it. All right.
Probably confused a lot of people.
Well, you know, maybe. I think I just must have heard wrong. I have bad ears or something. All right. So
Speaking of confusing, I'm just kind of curious why Apollo Crews is in this match and not Carl Weathers.
Well, yeah, after Daniel Bryan did say that Apollo Creed would be coming. Now, what would have been great is if they would have dressed Xavier Woods back into his Consequences Creed outfit and come out. He should do that one last time just as a rib on Daniel Bryan. But anyway, I digress. So next we have let's see, we'll do Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for the new but kind of like old WWE Universal Championship. That the Universal Championship was never a WWE thing, but there has been a Universal Championship in the past. I'm sure Cedric could tell you all about it. But yep. What do you guys think of this? 2 wins.
Tell me about it, stud.
Cedric, go ahead.
I'm rooting for Finn Balor to win. You know, Seth is a great wrestler, and he has many championship runs in his belt. If, barring any injuries or anything that might happen, I can see Seth being the face that runs the place. That promo that he cut was amazing. I actually liked it. That's one of the reasons that I think Raw is really doing well. They did a really good job with his promo. I didn't really buy the whole demon thing from Finn Balor. You know, he doesn't have the voice, but that's the scary thing about him. He looks almost like the kid that you wouldn't think 2 seconds that he will beat you, so you try to take his lunch money, and you happen to find out the hard way the kid has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That's the way Finn Balor is. He almost like looks too quiet, but every single time that he's had those network specials on NXT that he brings out the whole demon persona, he definitely brings it up a lot. Actually, you almost feel like he becomes the heel in the match. That's how much more violent, more strong style his wrestling becomes. So this is gonna be a really good match. I'm rooting for Finn Balor, but either way, I wouldn't get mad if Seth wins. I know a lot of people are gonna throw the whole it's too soon for Finn Balor to win, especially coming from NXT. But then again, even Seth Rollins alluded to, you know, this guy had a different persona, and he also has been mentioned before what he's done, what he's accomplished outside of WWE. So it might be too soon WWE roster wise, but I can see him winning. He too is one of those guys that's riding that wave from NXT into the main roster. But I'm rooting for Finn, but I wouldn't be surprised if Seth, being the more legitimate, already established wrestler, were to win. Especially since it is the first ever WWE Universal title champion. So if Seth were to win, I can see why he's more established as a main roster guy. But don't be surprised.
So the real question is, do you think that Carlos Colon would approve of either of these two gentlemen as champions?
Carlos Colon is rolling in his grave, man. Carlos Colon's pissed off. I think I just killed Carlos Colon. Gosh dang it.
I was going to say, I thought he was still alive.
I didn't think he was dead yet, but continue.
Nah, Puerto Rico, man, the memes coming out from Puerto Rico are just hilarious. People are just upset how listening to these guys say this is the first ever, and people are like, come on, guys, seriously. Like somebody in WWE is getting paid not to be creative, but to actually scope around different companies and taking bits and pieces. I just can't wait to see what this title looks like. Because if it looks anything like the Puerto Rican title, the one Colon you got to worry about is Carlos Colon showing up with Epico, Primo, Carlitos, and his other 10 kids.
And yeah, it was, the other thing, I've heard anyway, that it's literally going to look just like the World Championship except red.
Oh gosh.
Yep.
Please don't.
But
it has to be different. It has to. Come on
see.
now.
That's the rumor.
So it's going to be the women's championship?
Except the women's championship isn't red exactly. I'm talking like the strap, the inside, everything's red.
All red everything.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Eva Marie's championship, gotcha.
Oh, yep. Which rumor has it she's going to be the first SmackDown Women's Champion too, but it's another rumor for another day. So, Hulkster, Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins.
All right. So to me, this whole segment has been gold. I've really enjoyed it. There's only really one segment or portion of a segment that I thought was really kind of awkward, and that was when Seth Rollins was saying Finn Balor isn't even his real name. Like, okay, well, one, no shit, and two, no shit, Colby Lopez. I mean, really? Like, it was just really awkward.
I'm pretty sure his real name is Tyler Black. Okay.
Yeah, it was just really awkward for that to kind of. Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
No, I think
I just thought that was kind of awkward.
Yeah, but I think the whole point he was trying to make was that he just stole from Irish traditions to try to make himself seem more intimidating. I think that's what Seth was getting at. That like this whole persona of Finn Balor doesn't mean anything because he just took it from names of Irish folktales. But continue.
Gotcha. But I will say this though, that set up perfectly for the promo for Finn Balor, and it kind of had like a weird Undertaker type feel to it, sitting in that little
Smoky
coffin room, whatever it was, a little cavern, cave. I don't know exactly what he was standing. It looked like a tomb.
I'm pretty sure it's the same cave where they found parts unknown with the Ultimate Warrior.
There you go.
I think it was the same cave. Continue.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome, and I don't know, maybe it's because like I'm really into a lot of like Irish lore, like old Irish lore, before the Romans moved in. So like I got goosebumps listening to Finn Balor talking about all the heroes and demons and warriors and monsters, and kind of the lineage, so to speak, of his character. I dug that. I thought that was really awesome. And at the very end, teasing the demon for SummerSlam. I think they've booked Finn Balor so strong that I don't see how he is going to lose to Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins is pretty established right now, to where a loss wouldn't hurt him as the main event heel, because he's honestly, I think he's the best guy in WWE all around right now. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Finn Balor become the first WWE, quote unquote, Universal Champion. And it's for that specific reason. I think they can do a lot together, in ring and out of ring. Their little face to face, after Finn Balor was named his opponent. And it's like, the only thing that's going to be handed to you is your arse. Like that was just so cool. Like this is the kind of feud I've been really wanting to see from wrestling, where two guys just going at it, and it's not because I stole your girlfriend or because I want to beat you up or because you have soccer mom haircut. It's just two guys want to be champion, and it's just a real heated rivalry, and I'm enjoying this. So I'm going to say Finn Balor is going to win.
Wow.
But it's going to keep going.
Did you turn into Rex Romanoff there for a second, where you said you have soccer mom haircut?
You have soccer mom haircut.
You just anyway. We gotta get him back on the show one of these days. But anyway,
I think it's because of me being in Alaska and there's so much Russian culture around me.
Maybe.
I like it.
Next thing you'll be wrestling
from your house.
Next thing you'll be wrestling bears, you know. So
I did actually see a bear a couple weeks ago, so I didn't want to wrestle him because Mama Bear was not very far away from him. And yeah, you know what? There's no Mama Bear. No, I was gonna wrestle a cub. I might have a chance against a cub.
Be a star.
You bully! I just beat up a little kid. Congratulations.
No, I was taming a wild beast.
So to speak. All right, yeah, I beat you to it. All right, so for me, I would have told you I felt like it was a little bit of an awkward angle, much like you said initially, and I thought Finn Balor just didn't seem comfortable talking at all until I saw the promo on Monday, where it gets in that kind of eerie background and everything he's given the background of his character. Thought that was one of the best promos I'd seen in a long, long time from anybody. So I think Cedric, you're the lone wolf on this one. On whether you like this that particular promo or not. I enjoyed it, and I thought it did a lot to kind of show the progression of these guys' feud. So as far as the winner,
how am I the lone wolf?
Because you said you didn't think his voice suited it. So you didn't like it that much.
His voice is really calm, but that's why I said it goes with the whole switch. Like it's one of those guys that you do not expect him to be that way, and then all of a sudden he switches.
I thought you were saying.
No, I'm not hating on it. It was interesting. Like it's just weird to see how he doesn't have that raspy voice that the Undertaker might have, or Kane, or even Bray Wyatt's like persona that it's so believable, and then all of a sudden he just switches it, and even at the end when you see glimpses of the demon, that was pretty cool. Like I've been following Finn Balor for a while before even this happened, so I've liked the guy the whole time. It's just weird to hear him talk.
I see what you're saying.
And realize how he switches, and then all of a sudden he goes from like that kid that you think you could beat up, and when he goes to demon persona, he brings his level of intensity. It just doubles or triples. That's what I meant.
Yeah,
cool.
He turns it up to 11.
I will say this. Yeah, he plays the split personality way better than Kane ever did.
I don't know about I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
I'm just saying it's more believable, like reality-wise.
Yeah.
With Kane, it's just like it's comical.
But I think that's part of the point too with Kane's character. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. Because Kane is supposed to not know that he has this other persona of himself, whereas Finn's well aware of it and knows how to use both personalities. Yeah. But yeah, I got you. All right, as far as the winner for me, oh man, I might as well flip a coin. Flip. Shit. I'm gonna take Seth Rollins to win this against Finn Balor, but not clean. And I think it'll set up something else for them to do down the road again. They're gonna need something to go into Survivor Series with, and then eventually maybe even into the Rumble time period. So that's my pick, and I'm sticking to it. So we've got one more match to cover, and that's Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE World Championship. Cedric, how do you see this match going? Who wins?
You know, I like the segment that they had on WWE.com where Michael Cole sat with Dolph Ziggler. And if you hear it, Dolph is another one of those guys that the voice, the persona, you don't see it. WWE, I don't think, has done a really good job selling it, but in that interview, you can tell the guy's passion for wrestling, and you can tell he loves wrestling. He takes it seriously, and this is another one of those make or break type of wins. I think Dolph has more to lose, literally, with losing this match than Dean would. I think a loss for Ambrose, people will still support Ambrose. People still will be backing him up. You know, you guys already know I'm not a big supporter of the Dean Ambrose reign, so I'm supporting Dolph Ziggler on this one. Is it gonna happen? I just don't see Ziggler being the one to take the title off of him, but I really would like for Dolph Ziggler to win. So I'm gonna stay with Dolph Ziggler. I think this will do much more for his career as individually now. Will the people buy into it? I don't know. I think this is one of those that if he were to lose, WWE should not let it go. They should really build him even more and more and keep building him because definitely with time, I can see people supporting more Dolph, especially if Dean were to go more heel-esque route. But definitely, I would like to see Dolph win. Dolph is one of those wrestlers that people, like he himself said, people support me all the way up to the point where they know that I'm not going to win the big one. And then, he's such a great wrestler. He's so good. He's very athletic, but he's not good enough. And even he in the 5-minute interview, he even mentioned how people took him all the way to becoming a champion the first time because that's how much they wanted to see him win. And then all of a sudden, his whole persona, his aura just dropped, and he blames himself. He blames the powers to be, but I think it's a good moment to make him champ and just. He's not a new era guy. He's been around for a while, but with a new era, to see different people win, people from the new era, and even people who have been around for a while, but you would never expect them to win, I think that would be a good turnaround, and I wouldn't mind seeing him win.
Cool. All right. Hawkster?
No contest.
You think it's going to be a no contest?
I think it's going to be a no contest. I think Luke Harper is going to return from his injury, join Bray and Eric Rowan, and they're just going to lay waste during the middle of this match. And I think it'll be a good, entertaining match up until that point, but I don't think we're going to have a clear, decisive ending. I think the Wyatt family is going to come in and just wreak havoc on this match, and then at the next pay-per-view, we're going to have a triple threat.
Now, is it wreak havoc or wreck havoc? Do both of them.
Well, a little bit of both, especially if Luke Harper returns.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking.
He's got that stain on his shirt, and yeah, so
nice clean
react.
It definitely will give time to build. If something like that were to happen, definitely it will give even more time to build Ziggler as as a true contender.
Yeah,
And not chicken tender, by the way. McDonald's really good on you switching the whole tender thing.
I'm pretty sure it's called tendies.
Nice.
All right.
That's why Big E has some.
Well,
good
yeah,
tendies.
he's got some tendies right now.
Maybe Big E needs to go to Mickey D.
Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. Oh. All right. So no contest. Interesting theory.
And honestly, the main reason I say that is because, like, watching Raw, I feel like we've got a very serious and a very well put together build up for SummerSlam. Watching SmackDown, I feel like SummerSlam's still a month away. Like, it just, everything is so slow. Like, it hasn't really given me like, oh crap, SummerSlam's next weekend. Like, I just feel like everything's been a very slow build on SmackDown. I don't see how they're going to culminate everything that's been going on in just one more go home episode. So, unless they decide next Monday to make this a triple threat, or next Tuesday to make this a triple threat, because Wyatt has been pretty much the focal point of every show of the new era on SmackDown since the brand split. So
yeah. My only concern is it looked like he was hurt. I think I saw reports he was limping away again, and he had hurt himself recently again. So I don't know.
Hope that's not the case. That's what derailed him last time when he started doing great after The Rock.
Yeah. But because there's video of him really limping, like legit limping away from the ring, and there was a previous injury the week before, so he's either struggling through some type of injury or, they didn't ever said how bad it was.
That would be bad. That would really be bad if he were to go away for a time again.
But all right, for me, man, it's tough, and I hate to do it to Dolph, but I don't see why Dean would have carried this title, carried it over on a new show, kind of be the flagship guy of the show, just to have Dolph Ziggler suddenly come back to life after years and years. Now, a couple of things leading up to this feud. Number one, Dean seemed a little bit heelish again, kind of going into this thing from his expressions, the stuff that he said about Dolph Ziggler, the different things I've seen a change in his personality since Dolph won the number one contendership, and it's like Dean as a character truly doesn't believe that Dolph Ziggler is worthy of competing for this title. That's a fluke. That he's not a real contender for this championship. And so I don't know if there's anything for real going on, or hell, maybe maybe even that's like his whole deal with the Stone Cold podcast was just, maybe it was all a work for Dean, because I know he keeps some kayfabe still alive, so maybe this whole time he's working us for a heel turn or something. Who knows? But it has seemed weird to me in the build-up that he has definitely not been nice to Dolph. He hadn't said a good thing about him this entire time, and has done nothing but basically run him down and tell him he didn't deserve the title. So, interesting thing there. So, I'm not 100% sure, but I could see this match ending with Dean Ambrose somehow using some type of dirty tactic to defeat Dolph. More than just that, done dirt cheap. So, Dolph Ziggler perhaps getting beat not clean in this match. And, I don't know, and I've always said this, and it's something I kind of thought was weird last year. What if some way, somehow Dean Ambrose is that new person for the Wyatt family? It was kind of hinted at last year when there was some weird stuff going on, where everybody that Dean Ambrose kept suggesting for Roman Reigns to take on as a partner suddenly started getting taken out by the Wyatt family. And then now we're kind of seeing this attitude change in Dean Ambrose. Man, and he's got like the look that could fit in with those guys, outside of the beard, of course. But he's definitely got like that attitude and things like that. I don't know. There's a lot of open ends with Dean Ambrose, but I definitely think there's more than meets the eye in this match, and I think we're seeing some type of turn for Dean Ambrose.
You need to start writing for the WWE, man. I'm telling you, because these storylines make sense, and this is the spice really that SmackDown needs to get over. Because that would be interesting. Definitely would be interesting.
I just know I was so sure of it last year because of the fact that like everybody he started suggesting, like kept getting attacked by the Wyatts and getting taken out by the Wyatts, and I was like, dude, Dean Ambrose is the mole. Like he's gonna be the new Wyatt guy. And it never happened. I thought it would have been a good idea, but I think that he's got one of those type of personalities where he could fit in that thing, and him and Bray just become this just absolute powerhouse, and they just bring, they bring the other two along for the ride, and they just have this powerful faction. But yeah, I don't know. Man can dream, right? So looks like it should be an entertaining network special. I know my kids are looking forward to it. Both of them are really excited. They're really pumped. When they saw Finn Balor might be in his demon form, they got up singing and doing the Finn Balor theme song around the house for the rest of the day. So I know that so I know that they're pumped and ready for SummerSlam, as am I. So you guys have anything else? Otherwise, we've covered about 2 hours of material today.
Yeah, no, SummerSlam should be good.
Yeah,
I'm actually looking forward to it after this
Me too.
very in-depth analysis that we gave.
Very, very in-depth analysis, and hopefully some of this stuff actually happens, so we're not too disappointed when we come back. Because so far, Battleground was their best network special of the year.
For sure.
That they've put out there, maybe even more so than WrestleMania. And so it's sort of one of those things to where I'm really hoping one of these big pay-per-views can really light a fire and do something for me as far as from top to bottom. So, all right, well, you got.
Well, yeah, I think on that note, I'm gonna go find myself a banana nut muffin and go watch some water polo.
Me personally, I'm gonna get off here. I gotta hang out with my kids for a little bit. Then I got some food to go eat at a buddy's place tonight. So, nuts. Maybe not that kind of food, but
oh my gosh, I gotta start getting ready in about an hour.
So you gotta go to work. Yeah,
I gotta go to work. The sun is out, and I think it's gonna be pretty active today.
Well, I just want to say this, guys. Thanks for being on the show, and for listeners, thanks for listening to us. We would really appreciate getting some feedback from you guys. Let us know what you thought of the shows. Particularly, did you like our walkthrough of Monday Night Nitro? We'd love to do more of that kind of stuff. That was a lot of fun doing that together. And what you like and don't like, just let us know. Even if you're not comfortable posting on the page, if you want to send us a private message, that works fine too. Whatever you guys want to do to communicate with us. Otherwise, thanks a bunch, and till next time, court is adjourned.